The market brought in a cartload of male slaves. Mother slipped me 10 taels of silver, telling me to buy one to work at home. I stared at Xiaoliang in the iron cage, his body covered in whip marks, his demeanor cold and proud, and my mind went blank. I knew he would one day clear his name, shed his shackles as a slave, and rise to great heights, even marry me as his lawful wife. Yet my hands still pointed to the sturdy man beside Xiaoliang. I'll take this one. The figure in the corner trembled slightly. Xiaoliang lifted his gaze to meet mine, a flicker of bewilderment in his eyes. I didn't notice, nor did I look at him. I simply handed the money to the matchmaker and waited to take the man away. So it's settled? The matchmaker grinned happily as she took the silver, released the man, and handed me the indenture contract. I took the iron chain from the man's hand and suddenly felt a great weight lift from my heart. In this lifetime, I would never cross paths with Xiaoliang again. Just as I turned to leave, my sleeve was tugged. I looked back. Those thin fingers clutched my sleeve tightly, refusing to let go. Xiaoliang gazed at me, his posture bowed low to the dust. Please, miss. Take me with you. I had never seen him like this before. In my memories, he was always haughty, taking advantage of my affection to treat me coldly in every way. Our final meeting had been him scowling at me, lecturing me to stop scheming and stop framing his innocent mistress for everything. Back then, he didn't know I hadn't framed her. I truly had been drugged by his mistress and was near death. Thinking of this, I sighed softly. Then I reached out and, one by one, broke his fingers. My mother told me to buy a strong, sturdy one. You're too skinny, I don't want you. Xiaoliang flailed futilely on the ground, coughing violently, likely from the pain of his wounds. The matchmaker glanced at him, probably thinking he wouldn't sell well. She hurriedly tried to persuade me, young lady, why not take this one too? I'll give you a discount, just 8 taels. No, 7 taels. How about it? Don't let his thinness fool you, he's got strength. Xiaoliang lifted his head, his eyes brimming with fragile, unwilling hope. In my past life, I would have surely softened. But this time, I wouldn't. I clenched the iron chain in my hand and shook my head. I'm sorry, I have no money left. In my previous life, I bought Xiaoliang for 10 taels of silver. After returning home, my mother scolded me mercilessly. But I truly liked him, so I pestered mother until she relented. Unable to resist my persistence, she finally agreed. During Xiaoliang's time at the dye shop, I never let him do heavy labor. I cared for him meticulously, saving the best cuts of meat for him. He proved himself worthy. Later, when his innocence was proven and he passed the imperial examinations, his first question was what reward I desired. Half-jokingly, I suggested, how about pledging yourself to me? He paused, then smiled and agreed. On our wedding day, he arrived in a grand palanquin carried by 8 bearers, granting me every honor. Everyone said I was blessed. 10 taels of silver had bought me a perfect husband. I too believed that though Xiaoliang was not eloquent, I held a place in his heart. Only later did I realize that from the very beginning, our union was a mistake. Before his downfall, he had a cousin they both loved. She later fell into prostitution and lived a miserable life. After marrying me, he secretly redeemed her and made her his concubine. Had a servant not accidentally revealed it, I might never have known. I cried and raged for 3 days. At first, Xiaoliang tried to soothe me, saying, we knew each other. Now she's fallen on hard times, I couldn't just ignore her. Rest assured, she's pure-hearted by nature and cannot bear children. She'll never threaten your position. Later, when I refused to speak to him for half a month, barring him from my room, he grew angry. I married you to repay your kindness in taking me in. If you continue this capricious nonsense, all gratitude will be eroded. Let us part ways and never see each other again. He went all the way, bringing his mistress into the mansion and never entering my room again. Only then did I realize he had never truly cared for me. Truthfully, had he told me earlier that his heart belonged elsewhere, I would never have clung to him. Why promise to marry me only to torment me all these years? Now, given a second chance at life, I will never again entangle myself with him. I led my newly purchased male slave home. After walking a few steps, I suddenly remembered I didn't even know his name. "By the way, what's your name?" I asked. The male slave lowered his gaze, his posture humble. "Liang Jian." "Liang Jian." I pondered for a moment, then smiled at him. "Liang Jian, from now on, you belong to me. Work diligently, and I won't treat you unfairly." He paused, lips pressed together. "Yes." Liang Jian was taciturn. For every 10 words I spoke, he replied with barely one. Upon reaching home, I led him to the well, drew a basin of water, and instructed him to wash his face. Without a word, he silently scooped water, washing away the soot from his face. Watching him, I was surprised. Who would have thought he'd be such a handsome young man once clean? He caught my gaze and asked, "Did my ugly face frighten you, young lady?" "Ah, no, no." Snapping back to reality, I felt a bit embarrassed and turned to fetch a set of my father's old clothes from the house. "Your clothes are torn. Put these on." He glanced at them but didn't move. "Miss, Liang Jian is but a lowly slave. How could I possibly wear such fine garments?" "Don't speak that way." I pressed the garments into his arms and said earnestly, "I know many of you sold into servitude were caught up in circumstances beyond your control. Your nature isn't bad. Never think less of yourself. Work peacefully in my household. In 3 or 5 years at most, you'll have earned off your debt. When you wish to leave, I'll return your indenture without hesitation." He fell silent for a moment, his eyes flickering slightly. "All right." Liang Jian spoke little but worked with remarkable efficiency. He hoisted a 100-pound dye vat effortlessly, not even breaking a sweat. Even Mother couldn't stop praising him. "What a bargain, Xiaochun. We really hit the jackpot. Oh, and did you hear? That Yinshu next door bought some sickly pretty boy who can't lift a finger. She's even shelling out extra cash for his medical bills." I froze. "Sister Yinshu went to buy a male slave today too?" "Yep, you two went back to back. Good thing you got there first and picked a good one." I turned my head toward the dye shop next door, just catching the neighborly aunt scolding Yinshu, "What good is that useless piece of junk? What did you buy him for? Was it Xiao Liang Yinshu bought?" I froze for a moment, then shook my head. I didn't want to think about it. Whether it was Xiao Liang or not, what did it matter to me? In this life, I wouldn't have any connection with him. I took a deep breath and sat down with Mother under the lamp to sew shoe pads. Mother had grown old. Silver hair had begun to appear at her temples, and her eyes weren't as sharp as they once were. In my past life, I was too willful, caring only for good looks and nothing else, breaking my parents' hearts. This time around, I should think more of them. When marrying a husband, one must choose someone who knows how to manage a household. Hai Xing, who lives across from us, is just right. 3 years older than me, tall and sturdy, hardworking and honest, he often helps my parents with chores. Lost in thought, I grew drowsy and drifted off, nestled in Mother's embrace. I awoke in the dead of night to find Mother snoring soundly in bed. Getting up to use the chamber pot, I passed the woodshed and suddenly felt compelled to check on Liang Jian. Mother had partitioned off a small room for him in the shed. With the wind howling tonight, I worried he might catch cold. Rubbing my eyes, I walked toward the shed. Only at the doorway did I discover the wooden bed was empty. "Liang Jian?" I called out, but there was no response. Where could he have gone? Perhaps he'd just gotten up to use the outhouse. Not thinking much of it, I yawned and returned to my room to sleep. Early the next morning, I suddenly shot my eyes open. Had Liang Jian run away? I scrambled out of bed and dashed outside. There he was in the courtyard, bathed in perfect sunlight, quietly stirring dye. His sideburns fluttered in the breeze, and though clad in coarse cloth, his bearing remained dignified. Noticing me, he paused and nodded. "Miss." "Ahaha, good morning." I scratched my head sheepishly and slunk back to my room to wash up. Of course, why would he run away? I must have slept it off. After breakfast, I took Liang Jian to the drying yard to hang the cloth. Our street's dye shops shared a common drying yard. When I arrived, Yinshu was just hanging cloth. Would Xiao Liang be there too? I hesitated for a moment, then walked past her without greeting her. The drying yard was large. Focused on hanging the cloth, I soon lost sight of Liang Jian and busied myself alone among the fluttering fabrics. A sudden gust of wind blew the cloth from my hands. I scrambled to retrieve it, but another hand beat me to it. Xiao Chun! He looked at me, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. It was Xiao Liang. As expected, he had followed Yunzhu here. I composed myself briefly before snatching the fabric back. Who are you? He paused, startled. I'm Yunzhu's household servant. My name is Xiao Liang. Then why do you know my name? Just now. Yunzhu told me. Oh. I didn't want to talk to him. I draped the fabric over the bamboo pole and said coldly, since you're Yunzhu's servant, go help her with her work. Don't speak to me. I'm already done. He looked at me, hesitated for a moment, then reached out to help. Miss Xiaochun, let me help you. No need. I pulled the fabric back and told him sternly, whoever bought you should work for them. I don't take advantage of others. His hand froze midair, a hint of sadness flickering in his eyes. Xiaochun. Just then, Yunzhu came looking for me. Xiao Liang. There you are. Yunzhu ran over, spotted me, and grinned triumphantly. Xiao Chun, busy? Heard you bought a male slave yesterday too. Where is he? Let me see, does he measure up to mine? Yunzhu, what are you saying? Xiao Liang frowned. Seeing his displeasure, Yunzhu promptly shut up, looking guilty. Fine, I won't say another word. Don't get angry. She was just as lustful as I was, yet she didn't know that lust was a double-edged sword. The more handsome a man looked, the darker his heart tended to be. I glanced at Xiao Liang and smiled faintly. The male slave you bought is indeed very handsome. Xiao Liang's eyes lit up as he looked at me. I changed the subject. If he's cured, selling him to Nanfeng Pavilion would surely bring in a lot of money. Nanfeng Pavilion. He froze, his expression turning painfully awkward as he began coughing violently. Xiao Liang. How are you? Are you okay? Yunzhu was furious, yelling at me, Feng Chuanji, are you out of your mind? How dare you insult someone for no reason? I curled my lip. He's already been reduced to a male slave. What's there to be ashamed of? You're so mean. I couldn't be bothered to argue with them. Clutching the bamboo basket, I turned and walked away. But I bumped right into Liang Jian. I paused, then said to him, Liang Jian, come on. Let's go upstairs to air these out. He said nothing, silently carrying the large bamboo basket filled with damp fabrics as he walked beside me. After a few steps, I whispered, Liang Jian, what I said earlier was only about him. I don't look down on male slaves. I understand. He pressed his lips together slightly, his expression gentle. Miss didn't mean it that way, and I wouldn't think so either. Right. I'm glad you understand. He's such a good person. I sighed to myself as I carried the bamboo basket upstairs. My basket was smaller, yet it still partially blocked my view, forcing me to twist my head to see the stairs. Just as I stepped up, my body suddenly felt light. Liang Jian had hoisted me onto his shoulders. With one arm cradling the heavy basket and the other carrying me, he strode effortlessly up the stairs. Perched on his shoulder, I was terrified. Oh my, Liang Jian, put me down quickly. He walked steady as a rock, lips pressed in a faint smile. Rest assured, miss. Liang Jian has plenty of strength. I had no choice but to quiet down and sit still until he climbed the stairs and set me down gently. My face flushed as I stole a glance at him, thinking he seemed even more handsome than yesterday. Thanks, I mumbled before scurrying off to hang the fabrics, fumbling clumsily. No, the better looking the man, the darker his heart. I absolutely mustn't repeat past mistakes. Better to marry brother Haixing. He's ugly, but he has no malicious intent. My mind was in such turmoil that I didn't notice Xiao Liang downstairs, watching Liang Jian carry me upstairs. His fists clenched so tightly his teeth nearly ground to dust. That evening, I made a pot of sesame cakes. Brother Haixing loves sesame cakes. I'll take them to him first thing tomorrow morning. By the time the cakes were done, it was already late. When I returned to my room, Mother had fallen asleep. Just as I lay down, I suddenly thought of Liang Jian. It was getting cold, I hoped he wasn't freezing. So I got up, pulled a thick cotton quilt from the cupboard, and carried it toward the woodshed. Liang Jian, open the door. I nudged the door with my toe, but there was no response. Puzzled, I pressed my ear to the door, but heard nothing. After a moment's thought, I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The bed was empty. Liang Jian was gone again. Liang Jian? Oh no, he couldn't have really run away, could he? He was a slave. If he ran off and was caught by the soldiers, it would be an added crime, punishable by death. My heart raced with worry. I tossed aside the quilt, ready to search for him. But as I turned, I collided with a broad chest. Liang Jian took a half step back, his voice level. Miss, were you looking for me? Startled, I recognized him and patted my chest. You scared me to death, Liang Jian. Where did you go? He stood motionless, backlit so his eyes were hidden. I was just thirsty and went for water. Did you need something, miss? So that was it. My heart settled, and I exhaled softly. Pointing to the quilt on the bed, I said, it's getting cold. I brought you an extra quilt. He glanced up, a faint smile touching his lips. Thank you, miss. No need to be so formal. I waved it off, then pulled a sesame cake from my bosom. Oh, right, I just baked these sesame cakes. Here, take one. If you get hungry tonight, it'll tide you over. He took the cake, holding it in his hand. After a moment's hesitation, he asked, Did you bake these especially for me? Huh? Of course not. But he seemed to think I hadn't heard, smiling as he shook his head. It's fine, miss. The night grows deep and the dew heavy. You should rest. All right. You should sleep early too. Feeling a bit awkward, I gave a hurried laugh and quickly left. Before entering my room, I glanced back. Liang Jian had already closed the door. For some reason, I always felt Liang Jian was mysterious. Perhaps it was just unfamiliarity. Maybe once we got to know each other better, that feeling would fade. I sighed and went back to my room to sleep. Early the next morning, I filled a bamboo basket with sesame cakes, intending to find Brother Haixing. Just as I stepped out of the kitchen, I heard Xia Liang's voice. Hurrying to the front courtyard, I saw Mother smiling and chatting with him, thanks to you today, or I would have been swindled. Mother! I rushed over and looked at Xia Liang. What was he doing in our house? Mother hurriedly explained, Xiaochun, this is Xia from Yunju's family. A peddler was selling fake rouge earlier, and thanks to him, I avoided being swindled. It was nothing, Xia Liang murmured with a faint smile, lifting his gaze to meet mine. Miss Xiaochun, are you heading out? Unwarranted attentiveness usually means trouble, I retorted, turning my face away coldly. None of your business. My mother, puzzled by my reaction, frowned. Xiaochun, what's wrong with you today? Xia Lang is our guest. Mother, he's from Yunju's family. We should keep our interactions brief to avoid any misunderstandings if Yunju sees us. It's not that serious. She shot me a reproachful glance before smiling at Xia Liang. Don't take her seriously. Xia Liang didn't respond to her, looking slightly hurt as he fixed me with an unyielding gaze. Miss Xiaochun, why do I always feel you dislike me? I haven't done anything wrong. I froze. Because I couldn't forgive what he'd done in my past life, but how could the Xia Liang before me possibly understand that? My soft-heartedness nearly got the better of me again. After a moment's silence, I said coldly, stop flattering yourself. We're not even acquainted. I have no reason to dislike you. I'm leaving, Mother. Without glancing at Xia Liang, I grabbed my basket and hurried out the door. Across the way, Brother Haixing was just opening his door to step out. My spirits lifted, and I quickened my pace toward him. Brother Haixing. He just finished his work, bare-chested and drenched in sweat. Seeing me, he looked both startled and delighted. Xiao Chun! After calling out, he suddenly remembered he wasn't wearing a shirt and awkwardly retreated back inside. Xiaochun, wait. Let me put something on. No need, brother Haisheng. I just need to buy some dyes. It'll be quick. Ah. Brother Haisheng stood before me, his face flushed, looking a bit flustered as he raised his hand to cover his two little breasts. Xiaochun, what kind of dyes do you need? Indigo and madder root. All right, these are common goods. I'll deliver them to your place shortly. MHM. Also, I baked some sesame cakes for you. Feeling a bit shy, I tilted my head and handed him the bamboo basket. Brother Haisheng froze, flustered. For me? For me? He snatched it away, his face flushing scarlet as he stammered, Xiao. Xiao-chun, you're so kind. I blushed too, waving it off, it's nothing. If you like them, I'll make more for you. Our houses are right across from each other, we should visit more often, get closer. Great! Brother Haisheng grinned like a fool. Xiaochun, you coming to buy from me makes me so happy. Before, you always avoided me, I thought you thought I was ugly. Cough cough. No such thing. Brother Haisheng, you go back to work. I'm heading home. I waved goodbye and headed home, feeling a bit guilty. The moment I turned, I locked eyes with Xia Liangma's dark gaze. He stared coldly at Brother Haisheng, who had just entered the door, as if he wanted to devour him whole. Miss Xiaochun, you wouldn't happen to like that kind of person, would you? I found him utterly baffling and retorted, yes, I do. What's wrong with that? Brother Haisheng is so manly, don't you think? His gaze turned as cold as ice, and he gritted his teeth with a smile. He is quite impressive. Nervous. I ignored him and hurried home. Liang Jian was dyeing cloth, so I went over to help. He glanced up at me, then lowered his eyes. So the cakes you made were for the man next door. My hand froze. For some reason, I felt a pang of guilt. Biting my lip, I stammered, well, Brother Haisheng lives nearby and can help with the work. My parents are getting old, and I'm their only daughter. He's the best choice. I see. He kept his head down, his expression hidden. But marriage is no trivial matter. What is his character like? You can rest assured. Brother Haisheng and I grew up together. I know him well, he's as honest as they come. He nodded, offering a faint smile. That's good to hear. If you say he's good, then he must be truly excellent. I lowered my head, feeling an inexplicable emptiness in my heart. All day long, I worked in a daze. That evening, after gathering the cloth from the drying yard, I entered the house just as my mother said. Brother Haisheng got beaten up. I froze. By whom? Mother sighed. Who knows? They say he was returning from a delivery when someone suddenly appeared out of nowhere in the alley and beat him senseless without a word. You tell me, Haisheng's always been such an honest lad. Who would do such a thing? This is the capital city. Is there no law anymore? I dropped my bamboo basket and rushed to Brother Haisheng's house. I really didn't see who hit me. As I applied medicine to Brother Haisheng, he clutched his swollen cheek, utterly baffled. Could it be because I raised the price of madder? Someone holding a grudge? It's only 10 cash, surely not worth it. Then why didn't you fight back? The guy ran off after hitting me, I couldn't react in time. He rubbed his face and forced a smile. It's fine, Xiaochun. Just a few scrapes. Don't worry. MHM. Be careful. People who hit others always feel guilty. Keep your eyes open when you deliver goods tomorrow. I know. Brother Haisheng covered his face, deep in thought. With nothing else to do, I headed home. I didn't dwell on who had attacked Haisheng, just shook my head. The capital truly isn't peaceful anymore. Around this time last lifetime, the old emperor fell critically ill, and chaos erupted in the capital. Such days would likely persist for a long while. I needed to prepare countermeasures in advance. Early the next morning, I entered the kitchen to boil noodles when I heard my father's voice from afar. He'd been out delivering goods for days and hadn't returned. I hurried out to greet him. Mother had already come out, taking his luggage and scooping water for him to drink. Father took the water and said, "Have you heard? Haixing got beaten up. Mother didn't even look up. Oh, I know. It was yesterday evening, right? No, it was this morning. What? Mother was shocked, and so was I. Father explained he left early to deliver goods. When he turned into the alley, someone came out of nowhere and beat him senseless. It's bizarre, the attacker didn't steal his money or try to kill him. It was pure hatred. Mother cried out in distress, "Oh dear, how could this happen? Father, is the capital turning chaotic? Should we return to the countryside?" My mind was in turmoil. Without another thought, I grabbed the spatula and rushed to Brother Haixing's house. In the courtyard, Brother Haixing was applying medicine to his wounds. Seeing me, he flinched back. Xiaochun. Brother Haixing, how are you? I'm fine. Just minor injuries. That guy didn't go all out. Probably just wanted to teach me a lesson. Did you see who it was? I took a step forward, and he flinched again, couldn't make out who it was. I stopped, feeling something was off. Brother Haixing, what's wrong? You seem weird. He glanced up at me, his eyes darting away, stammering, "Xiaochun, maybe we shouldn't meet for a while. This whole thing feels off." What do you mean? He grimaced and said, "You never used to look for me. Now, every time you do, I get beaten up. Once you seek me out, I get beaten once. Twice you seek me out, twice I get beaten. Xiaochun, maybe we should just call it quits." I froze. Was he getting beaten because of me? Brother Haixing, do you think that guy hit you because of me? I can't say for sure. Brother Haixing looked at me apologetically and sighed. Xiaochun, let's just call it quits. Honestly, I know you don't like me at all. You only see me because of your parents. I've been thinking about it these past few days too. Truth is, I never really liked you either. It was mostly because my mom wanted you as her daughter-in-law. I was just trying to make her happy. So that's how it was. I was a bit taken aback. I stood there for a moment, staring at my toes, unsure what to say. Brother Haixing glanced at me and added, "Xiaochun, don't be sad. A girl as wonderful as you has plenty of people who like you." I thought about it. The one who hit me might be Tinyu. That guy's always had a thing for you. It wasn't him. Huh? I looked up. I know who hit me, Brother Haixing. I'm sorry. I'll get justice for you. By the river, I found Xia Liang practicing swordplay with a willow branch. His eyes lit up when he saw me, and he hurried over, "Xiaochun." Before he could finish, my hand smacked across his face. "Xia Liang, how dare you hit someone?" I demanded coldly. Half his face flushed red. He froze for a moment, then slowly turned his face, his lips curving into a faint smile. "I don't know what you're talking about. Don't pretend, Xia Liang. You reincarnated too, didn't you?" He stiffened, staring at me in astonishment. "When Yanzhu bought you, yet you kept deliberately approaching me, I already suspected something. I just couldn't be sure. This time, when Brother Haixing was beaten, I thought it over and over, no one else would do such a thing except you." With his identity exposed, he had nothing left to hide. He simply admitted it, smiling, his eyes filled with endless longing. "I knew I couldn't hide it from you, Xiaochun. Since you already know, I might as well admit it. I was the one who hit him. Because I couldn't stand seeing you smile at him, couldn't stand seeing you blush at that ugly face, couldn't stand knowing you liked him. Xiaochun, you treat him with such tenderness, yet you look down on me. Why? How am I inferior to him? He disgusts me to the point of nausea. You really don't know? The things from before, have you forgotten, or are you afraid to bring them up? Let me remind you. You said it yourself, our bond is long worn thin. We should part ways and never see each other again. Remember now?" He froze, flustered. "Xiaochun, that was just me venting." "Venting? Then later, when you brought that mistress home, loved her, had children with her, and ignored me for 3 years, was that also to spite me?" He fell silent, his gaze fixed on me with anguish. So much time had passed, yet the hatred still burned. Emotions surged back, stabbing my heart. Gritting my teeth, I demanded, "Xia Liang, I never forced you to marry me. If you'd told me you had someone else, I wouldn't have clung to you. Why did you marry me when you clearly didn't love me? Why did you torment me?" "It wasn't like that, Xiaochun." He shook his head, his eyes reddening as he looked at me pleadingly. "I did like you. Only, at first, I didn't even realize it myself. When I took in my cousin, I meant to tell you. But for some reason, I was afraid you'd find out, so I had her stay outside the estate. Later, you found out anyway. You made such a fuss, and in a moment of anger, I said those things. Truthfully, I just wanted to wait until you calmed down to talk properly. I never imagined you'd be so fiercely proud. Even when she slandered you, you refused to lower your head and explain. Back then, I couldn't see my own feelings clearly. It wasn't until after you died that I realized I truly couldn't live without you. I know I was wrong, Xiaochun. Let's start over. Give me another chance, will you?" He stared at me, his gaze shattered, yet my heart remained utterly unmoved. If he'd never loved me, I could accept that. But he claimed to love me, yet treated me that way. Isn't that even more despicable? He had years to explain himself to me, yet waited until after my death to regret it. What was he doing all that time? I stared at him coldly for a long moment, then shook my head indifferently. "Xia Liang, I only liked you for your looks back then. That little bit of affection has long since faded. There's no future between us. Stop bothering me." I turned and walked away. "Xiao Chun!" He grabbed me urgently. "Please, don't do this to me. I truly regret it. Xia Liang, how pathetic can you be? I told you I don't want you. Let go of me." He refused, clutching me tighter, growing more stubborn and unreasonable. "No. I'll never let you go again. Xiaochun, I know you're just sulking, just getting back at me. It's fine, I don't care. As long as you come back to me. Let go. It hurts." I struggled desperately, but it was useless. Suddenly, a pebble flew through the air, striking Xia Liang's wrist with a sharp thud. His body jerked, and he abruptly released me, clutching his wrist in pain. I turned back in alarm. "Liang Jian? What are you doing here?" Liang Jian pressed his lips together in a faint smile, his voice gentle. "I've come to escort the young lady home." A breeze stirred by the river. His mere presence there brought an inexplicable sense of calm. Xia Liang gritted his teeth, glaring at him with hatred. "Who the hell are you? What right do you have to take Xiao Chun away?" Liang Jian pulled me behind him, his gaze darkening. "My young mistress is precious as gold and jade. How dare you, you scoundrel, presume to lay a hand on her? Take one more step forward, and I'll kill you. You." Xia Liang was stumped, yet dared not move. He knew Liang Jian truly could kill him. "All right, Liang Jian, let's go back. If he really killed Xia Liang, he'd face execution too. Not worth it." "Good." Liang Jian withdrew his gaze, gave me a faint smile, and led me away from the riverbank. Xia Liang watched our retreating figures, his expression gradually calming, yet his eyes grew increasingly icy. Liang Jian held my hand for a long while, as if forgetting to let go. His touch was warm. With him holding my hand, all my grievances and frustrations melted away, leaving me feeling much better. Having someone stand up for you truly felt wonderful. A gentle breeze blew by, clearing my head. I pulled my hand back and smiled. "Ahem, Liang Jian, that was quite impressive earlier. Where did you learn that?" "Learned a bit as a child. Just flashy moves, really." He hesitated, then asked, "Why did you meet with that man today, miss?" "Well." I turned away guiltily. "He tried to seduce me to steal our dye formula. I saw through him, and he flew into a rage." "I see." He nodded, convinced. Such deep scheming. The next morning, the moment I opened my eyes, I heard Yinshu's wails and rushed over to see what the commotion was. "Xiao Liang! You heartless bastard! Why did you do this to me?" "Ah! What happened?" What happened? I hurriedly asked. Her mother sighed. Ah, Xiao Liang left. Somehow, he suddenly cleared his name as a slave convicted of a crime. Early this morning, he left 100 taels of silver and departed. I froze. In this lifetime, Xiao Liang had cleared his name earlier than before. But then again, he'd been reborn, naturally he'd want to shed his guilt sooner. Well, it's for the best. With him gone, I'll finally have peace. I patted Yunju's shoulder. It's okay, Yunju. I always knew he wasn't a good man. Better he's gone. But, I was so good to him. Then you just made 90 taels. You bought him for 10 taels and turned around to profit 90, a business genius even I can't match. Why yeah, I guess so. She wiped her tears, feeling much better. Lifting her gaze, she spotted Liang Jian working in my courtyard from afar. That male slave of yours grows more handsome the more I look at him. Xiaochun, I'll give you 20 taels, will you sell him to me? I glanced back at Liang Jian, fury boiling over. I tried to comfort you, and this is how you repay me? 50 taels. I won't sell him. You claim to comfort me, yet you can't even part with a male slave? Clearly, you weren't sincere. She burst into tears again. Cry yourself to death. I left her be and stormed back home. Liang Jian saw me enter and asked suspiciously, Miss, what's wrong? I stopped, clenched my teeth, and snapped. She tried to trick me into giving her our family recipe too. Liang Jian paused, his expression turning grave. I never would have guessed. Truly, like master, like slave. Exactly. I plopped down beside the dye vat and watched Liang Jian work. Honestly, the more I watched him, the more handsome he seemed. He's strong and kind-hearted. I wonder if he'd be willing to marry into my family. Xiaochun. Xiaochun. Mother called my name several times before I heard her. What is it, Mother? Dinner's ready. She glanced at me, then at Liang Jian, and for some reason, she gave an inexplicable little smile. Night fell. After climbing into bed, Mother nudged me. Xiaochun, what do you think of Liang Jian? I blinked guiltily. What do you mean? You know exactly what I mean. She leaned closer and whispered, I've observed him. Liang Jian is truly a fine lad. Strong, kind-hearted, and handsome too. Why don't you ask him if he'd be willing to stay with our family? This. My face flushed scarlet as I pulled the quilt over my head. Oh Mother, what are you saying? Don't be embarrassed. It's a perfect match. Once it's gone, it's gone. You and Haixing aren't going anywhere anyway. Might as well find someone new sooner. Stop it! Stop it! I curled up into a ball, my face burning fiercely. The next day, I couldn't resist going to see Liang Jian. He looked especially handsome when he was working diligently. If I could just kiss him once, I dared not imagine how soft his lips would feel. But I wondered if he'd be willing to marry into our family. Even though he was a slave, what if he wasn't content to settle for this life? I hesitated all day, never finding the courage to speak up. After night fell, I tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. Suddenly, I sat up. Hesitation never gets anything done. I dressed quickly and strode purposefully toward the woodshed. Liang Jian, are you there? I knocked on the door, but there was no sound. My passion suddenly cooled, replaced by confusion. Why was he always gone in the middle of the night? After a moment's thought, I decided to push the door open and barge in. The bed was empty, the quilt neatly folded, no sign anyone had slept there. My suspicions deepened. I reached under the covers, hoping to feel warmth. Instead, I touched a knife. Cold and hard. I couldn't believe it. Pulling it out, it gleamed in the moonlight, its sharp edge exposed. My mind went blank. Just then, Liang Jian returned. Miss. He froze, staring in shock at the knife in my hand. I looked at him, breathless. Liang Jian, are you planning to seek revenge? No, miss. He seemed flustered, reaching out. Give me that. No. I tucked the knife behind my back, my voice trembling. tears welling up. Liang Jian, promise me you won't do anything foolish, okay? I know you convict suffer inside, always wanting revenge. But you're weak. If you get caught, you won't escape. Liang Jian, I beg you. Miss, listen to me. Xiao Chun. He pulled me into a tight embrace, snatched the knife from my hand, and tossed it aside. He patted my back rhythmically, helping me steady my breath. Xiao Chun, I won't seek revenge. Trust me. I found this knife. Things have been unsettled in the capital lately. I thought it looked sturdy, so I brought it back for protection. Honestly. You're not lying to me? No. I swear, I won't do anything foolish. I won't make you worry. Trust me. I believe you, but you must throw that thing away. His gaze was so earnest, it was hard to doubt him. I hesitated for a moment, then choked out, all right, I'll throw it away soon. My voice cracked as I buried my face in his chest, struggling to stifle my sobs. He gently patted my back. After a long while, he asked softly, why did you come find me? I fell silent. I couldn't bring myself to speak. This knife. It terrifies me. I'm afraid he won't stay with me. I'm afraid one day I'll wake up to news of his death. I just wanted to see if you were cold. I lowered my eyes, unable to meet his gaze. My skin is thick and tough, how could I possibly freeze? He wiped my tears and smiled at me. Go back inside and sleep. You're dressed so lightly, be careful not to catch a chill. That night, Liang Jian did indeed throw the knife away. But my heart remained uneasy. If I didn't see Liang Jian for even a moment, I'd search everywhere for him. Fortunately, he never vanished again, just as he had promised. Mother kept urging me to ask Liang Jian if he wished to stay with our family. I hesitated, never daring to broach the subject. Days later, news spread throughout the capital that the emperor was gravely ill. With no imperial heir, the emperor had only one illegitimate son living among the common folk, Zhao Yuanjing. In my previous life, the emperor, aware of Prince Qing's ambitions for the throne, secretly issued an edict ordering several generals to escort Zhao Yuanjing back to the capital. Unexpectedly, Prince Qing intercepted the edict, entered the palace, and placed the emperor under house arrest. Later, he orchestrated Zhao Yuanjing's assassination and successfully ascended the throne. This time, events unfolded almost exactly as before. The emperor fell gravely ill, Prince Qing entered the palace, Zhao Yuanjing returned to the capital with his troops. I'm just a cloth merchant, powerless to do anything. Whoever becomes emperor matters little to me. I only hope my family can stay safe and sound. As the situation escalated, chaos engulfed the capital day by day. Panic gripped the populace. Several dye shops halted operations, ceasing deliveries. At night, they barricaded doors and windows to guard against looters exploiting the turmoil. Yet grain grew increasingly scarce. Though I'd stockpiled plenty in advance, my neighbors hadn't prepared. Soon they began to go hungry, so I simply invited them all to move into my home. By sharing what we had, everyone got a little to eat. With more people, we could also deter others from raiding our supplies. After all, the chaos wouldn't last forever. In my past life, no one starved to death. At night, huddled around the fire, Brother Haixing sighed, I still have 2 cartloads of goods I haven't collected. Tina comforted him, worrying about goods? It's good we're all safe. Yunshu glanced toward the doorway, her eyes filled with worry. What if Zhao Yuanjing attacks? Will he slaughter the entire town? Are we all going to die? Her words sent fear rippling through the group. No. No. Liang Jian and I spoke in unison. Liang Jian glanced at me, lowered his eyes, added some firewood, and said, Zhao Yuanjing isn't a bandit. Why would he kill civilians? That's hard to say, Brother Haixing replied. Everyone outside says he looks like a demon, loves drinking human blood. What if he enters the city in a bad mood and decides to capture a few people for slaughter? I felt a bit embarrassed. Who told you that? Don't worry, he won't. Don't I know it? Zhao Yuanjing will die in a few days. He can't possibly get in. Yeah, don't worry. He definitely won't. Liang Jian echoed me. Tainyo wasn't convinced. He shot Liang Jian a look. You're not him. How do you know for sure he won't? Liang Jian was stumped and fell silent. Tainyo leaned closer to me. Xiao Chun, when a new emperor ascends, he often fills the harem. You're so beautiful, you probably won't escape. Why not marry me first? Liang Jian's eyes widened as he suddenly squeezed between us. Enough, enough. It's late, everyone should sleep. Xiao Chun. Brother Tainyo, you and Haixing can sleep in the woodshed. I'll sleep on the haystack. Liang Jian dragged Tinyu away. Why are you pulling me? Xiaochun, think about it. I'm not sleepy. You're hurting me. Ah. Ouch. The next morning, the outside seemed somewhat quieter. Several men decided to go out and check the situation, bringing back some salt to eat while they were at it. But for some reason, they hadn't returned by evening. I had a vague sense of foreboding. As darkness fell, hurried knocking finally sounded at the door. I rushed to open it. Haixing and Tinyu, covered in mud, scrambled inside. Quick, quick, shut the door. The Prince of Qing is conscripting laborers. We barely escaped. What about Liang Jian? We lost him. We couldn't find him. Shut the door. What? Could he have been conscripted? My head spun, and I nearly collapsed. Clinging to the wall, I forced myself to stay upright. No. That can't be. He'll come back. Refusing to consider the worst, I clung to hope, waiting by the door all night. But dawn broke without him. Brother Haixing sighed. It's over. They definitely took him. Xiaochun, you shouldn't wait anymore. I couldn't speak. My heart raced with panic and sorrow, yet I could do nothing. Just then, the main gate clanged loudly. My eyes lit up. I rushed to open it. Liang Jian. The figure outside wore a cold, grim expression, his teeth clenched in a smile. Liang Jian? Xiao Chun, you've been waiting for him? Xiao Liang. How could it be him? He wore official robes, transformed beyond recognition, with a retinue of guards in tow. He was supposed to enter officialdom only after Prince Qing's ascension. It seemed this time, using his past life memories, he defected to Prince Qing early. You. How did you come? Naturally, to take you away. His smile sent shivers down my spine. Xiao Chun, I told you, I'll never let you go again. Two maids rushed forward, pinning me on either side. Miss, please come with us. Intense unease gripped me as I scrambled backward. No. I won't go with you. Let me go. He said nothing, merely waved his hand. The maids tightened their grip, dragging me toward a nearby carriage. Yunshu and the others came running out. Xiao Liang. You heartless bastard, let Xiaochun go. Are you deaf? Xiaochun said she won't go with you. Let her go. Looking for trouble? Guards drew swords, pinning them to the ground. Xiaochun. They struggled, watching helplessly as Xiao Liang took me away. Xiaochun, see? Our home is just ahead. Remember? Xiao Liang pulled me off the carriage and strode toward a grand mansion. In this life, he had become the Qing prince's confidant early on, securing this estate. Xiao Liang, what exactly are you trying to do? I want to live a peaceful life with you. His gaze was almost frenzied. Ignoring my struggles, he dragged me into the mansion and kicked open the main hall's door. Inside hung the mangled corpse of a woman, swaying in the breeze. Terror froze me solid, my body stiffening beyond control. Xiao Chun, are you pleased? I killed her. He grinned savagely. She framed you, slandered you, tore us apart, she deserved to die. Xiao Chun, I avenged you. Can you forgive me now? Staring at the corpse, my spine went cold. I could barely form coherent words. Xiao Liang, you're terrifying. You may not be a gentleman, but you shouldn't be this kind of scum. That mistress had given him her whole heart, even bearing his children. And this was how he treated her. Now he professes to love me. If one day I displease him, what fate awaits me? My whole body trembled as I backed away step by step. You forced me. You forced me. He roared, then clutched me tightly, whispering like a ghost, "Xiao Chun, we'll never be apart again. Never apart." Xia Liang imprisoned me. He bought many beautiful clothes and jewelry, dressing me up just like in my past life. But he wouldn't let me move about, binding me and confining me to the room. I tried to escape, but no matter how I tried, I couldn't break the ropes. Sadly, I thought, if only Liang Jian were still here. But now, his situation might not be any better than mine. Perhaps he's already fallen on the battlefield. Suddenly, I felt such regret. I never even told him I loved him. Imprisoned by Xia Liang, I endured his daily delusional ramblings, suffering terribly. After days passed, he pushed open the door, his expression cheerful. "Xiao Chun," he said as he pinned pearl flowers in my hair and placed a phoenix crown upon my head, "it will soon be over. Zhao Yuanjing is dead. Prince Qing will ascend the throne tonight. The new emperor will bestow a marriage decree upon you, making you the most celebrated bride in the city." How does that sound? Zhao Yuanjing is dead? I murmured. Then it truly is coming to an end. I suppose I cannot escape. I gave a weary smile. Yes, of course it is. A voice urged from outside the door, "Minister Xia, it's time to depart." Xia Liang kissed my forehead and strode out briskly. The room fell dark once more. Xia Liang had gone mad. Even if I submitted to him, no good days lay ahead. If escape was impossible, then the only option was mutual destruction. I closed my eyes, silently counting the hours. After an unknown length of time, strange noises suddenly erupted outside. Servants seemed to be rushing about frantically, as if fleeing for their lives, their screams echoing in rapid succession. Had something happened? Bound and unable to move, I could only strain my ears to listen. Suddenly, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed outside the room. Instantly, the door was kicked open. "Xiao Chun!" they shouted. I couldn't believe my eyes, staring wide. "Yunzhu. Brother Haixing. Tinyu. We've come to take you home." They rushed over. Brother Haixing and Tinyu cut the ropes, while Yunzhu pulled the phoenix crown from my head. "You. Why are you here? Xia Liang will kill you." "Don't worry. He won't return. Zhao Yuanjing has stormed the city. Prince Qing has been executed, and Xia Liang is likely dead too." "What? Didn't they say Zhao Yuanjing died?" "We don't know the details either. We heard it outside. We figured if Xia Liang is dead, it's the perfect chance to rescue you." "You." My nose stung, and I began to cry. We children of Dai Street may bicker and quarrel daily, but when trouble strikes, we stand by each other with unwavering loyalty. Enough talk, we must hurry. All right. I wiped my tears and followed them out. No sooner had we crossed the threshold than the sound of heavy footsteps echoed outside. Oh no! Could Zhao Yuanjing be advancing already? Hair stood on end as we frantically searched for cover, until we recognized the figure rushing around the corner, Liang Jian. Armored and sword-wielding, he led a group of men toward us. "Xiao Chun." His gaze fixed on me, relief washing over him. Like a long-lost treasure, he reached out. "Xiao Chun, I'm here." We scrambled to our feet, staring at him dumbstruck. After a long moment, I finally snapped out of it, threw myself into his arms, and burst into tears. "Liang Jian. I'm so relieved you're safe. Why are you dressed like this? Were you conscripted? Are you hurt?" "I'm fine, Xiao Chun. You need to let go." "I can't breathe." "I won't let go. I was so afraid I'd never see you again, Liang Jian. You must never do this again." All right, I won't again, Xiao Chun." He smiled faintly, patting my back gently. Brother Haixing and the others rushed over, exclaiming joyfully, "Liang Jian, you're alive." That was terrifying. We thought Zhao Yuanjing had attacked us. Liang Jian held me close, silent for a moment before turning to them and saying calmly, "I am Zhao Yuanjing." "What?" Brother Haixing and Yunzhu froze. Tinyu's legs buckled, and he plopped down onto the ground. Later, I learned that Liang Jian was merely Zhao Yuanjing's alias. He'd taken the surname Liang because his mother was a Liang. Originally, he'd sneaked into the capital hoping to see his emperor father. Instead, he'd been mistaken for a petty thief, captured, and sold at the vegetable market. The day I bought him, he'd planned to flee the capital under cover of night. But he unexpectedly discovered my home was near the Prince Ching's mansion. So he slipped in to scout the place. It was during that nighttime reconnaissance that he learned of the Prince Ching's plans. He played along, staying in the capital to monitor the prince's movements. He coordinated with the army outside the city walls, ultimately leading to the Prince Ching's downfall. I felt a pang of emotion. Who would have thought that my casual choice of him that day would unexpectedly alter the nation's destiny? Xiaochun, I never meant to worry you. But that day, I got separated from Haixing and the others, then encountered the conscription patrol. They took me out of the city, leaving me no choice but to flee back to the military camp. I know. And I never blamed you. I lowered my head. You're the emperor now. Will I ever see you again? I felt a pang of sadness. He couldn't stay in my home anymore. He studied me for a moment, then leaned closer. Then I'll appoint you to an official post. That way, you can see me every day. How does that sound? I could become an official? Of course. How about Empress? What do you say? My marriage to Liang Jian was finally sealed. Back home, when mother learned Liang Jian was the emperor, she nodded. He may only be an emperor, but he's still a decent match for my daughter. As she spoke, her eyes rolled back and she fainted. Later, I entered the palace with Liang Jian. I couldn't bear to leave the dye shop, so Liang Jian had it moved into the palace as well. I couldn't bear to leave father and mother behind, so Liang Jian brought them into the palace too. Not only that, Yunshu, brother Haixing, and Tinyu all became imperial merchants. Later, the few of us would often gather in the palace to experiment with new dyes. Just days after I entered the palace, Liang Jian's men captured Xiaoliang. He hadn't died. He'd been hiding in the city, and when they found him, he was emaciated beyond recognition. Dragged before Liang Jian, he stubbornly refused to kneel, so his legs were broken. Coughing up blood, he sneered bitterly. I calculated everything, thinking my memories from the past life would let me control everything. But I never imagined Zhao Yuanjing was right beside me. Heaven truly abandoned me. If I'd met you in my past life, I wouldn't have lost. Xia Liang wept bitterly. Liang Jian watched him, not fully grasping his words but finding them irritating nonetheless. Anything else? He demanded. Xia Liang lifted his head, choking out, May I see Xiaochun? Liang Jian frowned, turning coldly, kill him. The imperial guard swung their blades, severing Xia Liang's head. On the night I was crowned empress, Liang Jian lay beside me, playing with my hair. He asked, Xiaochun, did you and Xia Liang know each other before? And this past life he mentioned, do you know what he meant? I froze. Since he asked, it meant he cared. But telling him the truth might be too much for him to bear. Yet he was so intelligent, concealing it would surely breed resentment later. After much deliberation, I stole a glance at him, steeled my resolve, and confessed honestly. It's nothing really. Just think of it as a dream. We shared the same dream. In it, we were husband and wife, and he betrayed me. I recounted the events of my past life to him. After listening, he fell into deep thought. I gathered my courage and said, well, now you know. If you mind. What's there to mind? He replied with a soft smile. I'm not the narrow-minded sort. How could such a trifle upset me? Since it was a dream, let's just forget it. I was somewhat surprised. I'd always known him to be kind, but hadn't realized his emotions were so steady. I breathed a sigh of relief and snuggled into his embrace. All right. We'll never speak of that person again. Never again. He patted my back and fell asleep. Not long after, he suddenly opened his eyes. Wait, the more I think about it, the angrier I get. I was right beside him the day you bought that male slave. Why did you choose to buy him in your dream? Startled, I thought for a moment, then groaned with a headache. Back then, I just thought he was handsome. Am I not handsome? You were covered in mud then. I couldn't see a thing. He pondered this. True enough. He was at a loss for words. Oh. He rolled over, then flipped back instantly, pinning me down. What about now? Tell me, who's more handsome? Him or me? You, of course. Exhausted by his antics, I begged for mercy. You're handsome. You're the most handsome. Why are you arguing with him? Then say you like me best. I like you best. There's no one else I like besides you. That's more like it. He smiled contentedly. Then why aren't you getting off? Get off for what? Since you're not sleepy anymore, let's hurry up and have a baby. Otherwise, I'll never feel at ease. Huh? Give me a break, you old fossil. The end.